You set the alarm for 5:30 a.m. You had the whole plan laid out in your head. The gym bag was packed the night before. And then the alarm goes off and something inside you just doesn't move. You lie there staring at the ceiling, telling yourself you'll go later. Later becomes never. And that sick, hollow feeling in your chest? That's not laziness. That's something much more specific. And today we're going to pull it apart piece by piece so it never controls you again. Because here's what nobody tells you. The people who show up to the gym consistently, every single week, month after month, they are not more motivated than you. They are not more disciplined. They don't have some secret genetic gift for willpower. They just know something about how habits actually work that most people never figure out. And once you understand it, everything changes. Not gradually. Fast. Most people treat gym motivation like a feeling they have to wait for, like it's weather, like it just shows up on its own and they ride it until it disappears. And when it disappears, they feel like failures. They feel like something is wrong with them. They start the cycle of guilt, avoidance, and false restarts on Mondays that go nowhere. Sound familiar? Because if it does, you're not alone. This is one of the most common experiences of anyone who has ever tried to build a consistent fitness routine. Now I want you to think about the last time your motivation completely crashed. Really sit with it for a second. You probably started strong. Maybe 2-3 weeks in, you were feeling it, the energy was there, and then life happened. A bad night's sleep, a stressful week, one skipped session that turned into 2, and suddenly the version of you that was showing up every day felt like a total stranger. That gap between who you were in those first weeks and who you became in the slump is one of the most painful things a person can experience silently. Because nobody talks about it out loud. You're not posting about the weeks you didn't go, you're not telling people you canceled on yourself again, you just carry it. That quiet weight of knowing you said you would and you didn't. And over time, that weight compounds. You stop trusting yourself, you start thinking maybe this just isn't for you. Maybe you're the kind of person who tries and quits, and that story starts to feel true even though it is completely wrong. Here is what is actually happening inside your brain when motivation disappears. Your brain is a reward machine. It runs on dopamine. When you first start going to the gym, everything is new. The newness itself triggers dopamine. You feel excitement. But after a few weeks, the novelty fades, the dopamine response drops, and now going to the gym requires effort without the automatic chemical reward that was carrying you before. This is not a character flaw, this is biology, and you can work with it instead of fighting it. Now, researchers who study behavioral patterns have found that the people who sustain long-term physical activity don't rely on motivation at all. They rely on something called habit stacking, environmental design, and identity-based anchoring. These are not complicated concepts. They are actually incredibly simple once someone breaks them down for you. And they work, not for some people, for nearly everyone who applies them correctly. We actually have a program linked down below in the video description that goes much deeper into this entire system, showing you the exact steps in a structured way. If you feel like you've tried everything and nothing sticks, don't wait to look into it. The people who find it most useful are the ones who act on it the moment they feel ready, not the ones who bookmark it for later. If later always leads nowhere, this is your moment. Go check it out after this video. Now let's talk about the first tool. Habit stacking. This is where you attach your gym routine to something you already do without thinking, not something you aspire to do, something you already do automatically, every single day. If you make coffee in the morning without even thinking about it, that is a powerful anchor. The moment you start the coffee machine, you put on your workout clothes. Not after the coffee, during it. You are linking a new behavior to an existing one. Your brain starts to bundle them together. Over time, one triggers the other automatically. The gym bag is part of the coffee ritual. This sounds too simple. That's why most people dismiss it. Do not dismiss it. Studies in behavioral science show that people who successfully use habit stacking are significantly more likely to maintain new behaviors over 6 months compared to those who rely on motivation or willpower alone. That is not a small difference. That is the difference between the person who has been going to the gym for years and the person who is still trying to figure out why they keep stopping. The second tool is environmental design. This one is powerful in a way that feels almost unfair once you use it. Your environment is constantly making decisions for you. The placement of objects, the friction between you and an activity, the visual cues in your space, all of it is nudging your behavior without you being aware of it. If your gym bag is at the back of a closet, you have created friction. If it's sitting right by the front door where you literally have to step around it, you have removed friction. If your workout shoes are hidden, your brain has to do extra work. If they're sitting in the middle of the floor where you can't ignore them, the decision becomes automatic. Top performance coaches who work with elite athletes understand that environment wins over willpower almost every single time. They don't ask their clients to be stronger. They ask them to design their surroundings so that the right choice becomes the path of least resistance. You can do this today, in your home, for free, and feel the effect by tomorrow morning. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. And this part might surprise you. The third tool is identity anchoring. Most people set goals around outcomes. They say, I want to lose weight, I want to build muscle, I want to feel better, and those are great things to want. But here's the problem. Those outcomes live in the future. And your brain does not feel the future. It feels right now. So when it's 5:30 in the morning and you're warm in bed, the future feels very far away. The couch feels very real. Identity anchoring works differently. Instead of saying, I want to become someone who goes to the gym, you say, I am someone who goes to the gym. You make a decision about who you are right now, in this moment, not who you're working toward becoming. And every time you show up, even for 15 minutes, even for a bad session where nothing feels right, you are casting a vote for that identity. And those votes stack, they create evidence. And that evidence becomes the most powerful motivational force available to human beings because it is self-generated. It comes from inside you, not from a quote on Instagram that fades by Tuesday. People who shift from goal-based thinking to identity-based thinking report a fundamentally different relationship with their habits. It stops feeling like something they have to do. It starts feeling like something they are. That shift changes everything about how they feel when the alarm goes off. Now let's talk about slumps specifically, because even with all three of these tools in place, slumps will happen. Life is not linear. Stress, illness, travel, exhaustion, loss, all of it is real, and all of it will disrupt even the strongest habit structure at some point. The question is not how to prevent slumps. The question is how to get out of them faster every time. The answer is what behavioral psychologists call the minimum viable action. When you're in a slump, you do not try to restart at full intensity. That is the number one mistake people make. They feel bad for missing 2 weeks, so they decide to punish themselves with a massive session to compensate. The body hates that, and the brain registers that intensity as a threat, not a reward, which makes it even harder to go back the next day. Instead, you set the bar so low it almost feels embarrassing. You tell yourself you're going to the gym, and all you have to do is walk in and be there for 10 minutes. That's it. No pressure on the workout, no expectation of performance. Just show up and exist in that space. What happens next is almost predictable. Once you're there, you do more, not because you forced yourself, because you removed the resistance that was keeping you away. You broke the inertia, and inertia, once broken, is shockingly easy to redirect. Behavioral data consistently shows that the biggest barrier to gym attendance after a slump is not the workout itself. It is the psychological cost of making the decision to go. Lower the decision cost and the behavior follows, every single time. Now imagine 6 months from now. You've been using these tools. The habit stacking is automatic. Your environment is designed. Your identity is locked in. You've gotten through 2 slumps using the minimum viable action principle and come back stronger each time. What does your life look like? And I don't just mean physically, though that part is real and it matters. I mean, how do you feel when you wake up? How do you carry yourself? How does it feel to be someone who says they'll do something and then actually does it? That feeling of self-trust, of integrity with yourself, is one of the most profound shifts a human being can experience. And it starts with something as simple as knowing why your motivation crashes and exactly what to do about it. This is not about grinding harder. It is not about punishing yourself into consistency. It is about understanding how your brain actually works and building systems that make the gym feel like the easy choice instead of the hard one. That's the real game. And once you're playing it, you stop losing. Now, if you want the full system laid out step by step in a way that removes all the guesswork and shows you exactly how to apply every single one of these principles to your specific situation starting today, the program linked in the video description does exactly that. Honestly, most people will read this and think they'll figure it out on their own, and some will. But the ones who move fastest are the ones who stop trying to reverse engineer everything from scratch and just follow a proven path. If you're tired of cycling through motivation and guilt and false starts, the program is there. The link is in the description. Don't let this be another video you watched and felt good about and then forgot. Make this the moment something actually changes.